Yeah, but only one bean on that thing.
Redneck Archaeologists, and we don't need no rest. We'll do everything it takes to finish out our quest. Redneck Archaeology.
Oh, check that out.
Oh, that cedar tree we found last time we were out here.
Yeah, we got some still shots of it.
I may be able to get the ring off the fence up when I get my equipment set up down there. Look at your line, Jen.
Well, last time we were out here looking, we were looking for some Senna trees, because that was one of the things that they said that they buried the cannons near some Senna trees. And we looked all around the whole area on all of our other times, and we never found any Senna trees. When we came out here, we found one right there. It's the only one we've seen in the whole area, and there, you know, that's a native tree. It's like, you know, the only one around here, so we must be getting close or something.
This is what's called the Senna tree, or the coffee bean tree. Poor people, Confederates, whatnot, during the Civil War especially, because they didn't have much in supplies of coffee beans because of the embargoes. So the Yankees would take these seeds and boil them up and make what they called coffee. Alright, there's a different word for it. We'll go into that. Senna tree. It's also known as a Senna tree. S-E-N-N-A, I believe it is. Anyhow, whenever they were burying the twin sisters, one of the men, I think it was Barnett that said it, I'm not sure which one it was, but one of the men said that they buried it in a low-lying area, basically, or pretty close to it, in a strand of Senna trees. And so these things usually grow where it's kind of a low-lying area, and they grow really well in that. And so that's what we were looking for out there, and we did find one at the Glendale Cemetery location on the other side of the railroad track. But that means that they did grow along that creek that was there, that bayou. They want to call it the Little Bayou or the creek. I want to call it the creek, in the low-lying area, and it probably grew. Those things probably grew all the way up to Buffalo Bayou, which is just that short distance. So you know, they definitely knew what the coffee bean tree was, and that's what we've been looking for, is one of the clues as to where that location. I know we went all over Harrisburg. We never found any of these coffee bean trees or Senna trees except in that one location, directly across the railroad tracks from the cemetery and what used to be the Milby Brickyard, and now it's the chemical plant.
When I get my equipment set up, we can get a measurement from the fence line on the cemetery, using that as our base, to the Senna tree there, to see whether or not we can have a good measurement on it, to see what that distance is.
Groovy!
Well, let's get to work, guys.
Let's get to work. Let's go do it, man. All right,
Okay,
come on.
I've got a point over here where I'm going to be setting up my equipment so that we can actually get some measuring done.
Groovy. The cedar tree we keep talking about is like a coffee bean tree. I got one growing in my backyard. And it's what's called poor boy coffee is made from it. So if you take some of these seeds and you boil them, you can make the old poor guys, and especially during the Civil War, a lot of Confederates used it to make coffee with a cheap form of coffee. So you can actually boil these things and make coffee with it. Who would have thought?
This area on this chemical plant, one of the areas we think it possibly could be, starting to do a little bit of work in this area. So they may dig it up by accident.
Looks like they're dropping a lot of this stuff out there.
Yeah, that's dumped right now because, yeah, these piles out here in that yard, it seems like to me they're getting bigger each time we come out. The last time, all of them were a lot smaller than they are right now.
Alright, whose idea was this?
Yours?
Oh, shit! Alright, behind us we have the Glendale Cemetery. Glendale? Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Glendale Cemetery, which was built in the first grave was in 1820 something. 1830, I don't know, I'll have to find that out. I believe a relative of Harris, one of the Harrises, which my grandmother was a Harris. Her name was Barbara Burby Harris, and then her father was Floyd Harris, who lived here. She was in an orphanage in Galveston for 2 years, her and her sister. And then Floyd was here in Texas, in Houston. He was a builder. And then his father was Sherman Harris. Yeah. That was also Sidney Sherman's house was right here too. Right over there was Sidney Sherman's house.
That's about 220 degrees from where we're standing right now on this. I would say that that Senna tree there is probably, Jay, base it on where you started from. Okay, how many? How many?
6 steps, 18 feet.
18 feet.
So you're looking about 20 feet. 18 to 20. You took 10? Maybe 30 feet.
These are approximations.
Yeah.
30 feet. Okay, so what we need to do is that we need to take, since that's the old creek bed down there, we need to concentrate our searches between that line where that Senna tree is up to this area.
Now you remember
where the fence is, and go maybe 10 or 15 feet on, maybe 20 feet out into that area there.
keep in mind on that map and all those topo maps and everything, in that low-lying area, that creek, bayou that they call it, the little bayou creek is what I call it, it curves bananas around. So if this was the end, and if this was the end, of the low-lying area over here where the Senna tree is, then that means it could actually curve way the hell back into that plant. By way the hell in that plant, I mean way the hell into that plant.
At least 40 to 50 feet. Yep.
Why that is, there's a old barricade there, concrete barricade, there's a fence that goes into the cemetery.